Commissioner, you've brought us here to the Cambridge Rec Center before. I know it's a pride and joy here in District E, and this is just looking around here today. There's people in the gym, there's basketball, there's a sign language class going on here. Multi-gen center, getting better all the time.
Yep, just redid the floors that they'd asked for, so we've pretty much remodeled internally, and it's a well-used facility. And remember, we didn't name it after Myrna Torme Williams in her out of respect for her service here in Clark County.
Also in the neighborhood Boulevard Mall. I know you had us out there for an In Your Neighborhood last year, and that place just continues to evolve. Anthem Blue Cross is adding employees there, so they're really thinking outside the box of what an old school mall used to be.
Absolutely, that was the original mall. When I moved here 39 and a half years ago, I lived right up the street here. Freed's Bakery was next door, movie theaters were internal, we had the Vineyard Italian restaurant, which was off the charts. So I have to give Roland Sansone and his company great kudos, because with retail doing what it's doing nationally, they have thought out of the box. So you've got SeaQuest, you've got the first Goodwill center in the United States inside a mall. You've got job training located there. You've got the Rec Trek. There are over 3,000 employees on campus right now, even with the closing of the JCPenney's and the Dillards. You've got a call center going upstairs. They're going to be adding another 400 to 500 jobs. I did a job fair for the neighborhood back in November, and they let us host it there. We had over 825 people that showed up. Today, we just approved the bonding for the expansion of the Convention Authority, and once again, I asked them to make sure that they're looking into the neighborhood to hire men and women, not just for construction, but for the permanent jobs, which would be a game changer for this area, because there's a lot of poverty over here.
And there's being combated in a number of different ways, including I'm just talking with Nate here, and they even have new goals and new visions here, because this is more than just a recreation center. People from the community come in here and ask questions not pertaining to sweating, to recreation,
exactly,
right?
To recreation.
So, yes. But he was telling me about a 6-week youth development program which you're starting, and it will give kids how to apply for jobs and other things, real life skills.
And we can even bring in a mobile unit from Workforce Connections to bring them right on site once they're ready for that part. So I'll make sure Nate knows about that. It's kind of a new program out there. So you've got job training, it's a multi-generational used facility, and that's the beauty of it, because I've got elderly folks, I've got folks that have lived here for 40 years next door. You've got then all the mass of the apartment complexes here. This is a Pathway from Poverty project that I'm working on as well with Metropolitan Police, with the schools, to make sure that we're trying to help people pull themselves up, make a living wage. We're missing, though, in this corridor child care facilities. And so anybody out there interested in providing child care, we need it over here in this boundary line between Flamingo to DI and from Maryland to Paradise. We don't have a single child care facility in this area, which really keeps those parents down from being able to go out and get full-time employment.
Commissioner, something else I know you're proud of is the Las Vegas Justice Court Impact Center. Many of those partner agencies you just mentioned, in addition to the District Attorney's Office, giving low-level offenders a chance to pay back and to do things here in the community and get services they need. Not be incarcerated.
Correct. Keep them out of the jail. Stop clogging that. That's the most expensive, our jail and prison system. So I loved Harry from Night Court probably 30 years ago. So conceptually I was pushing for that. I've had this conversation for 11 years. I have to commend Justice Bonaventure, because he embraced this. We don't need to clog the court. So Metro's very supportive as well. If we can get them referred to a ticket that doesn't get out of jail free, but we can request them to also go into services. We can't mandate it, but they can request it. If they go into services, especially those that are homeless, then we can begin to get them the assistance that they need. We can do wraparound services with them rather than them being housed at the jail. So I'm excited about this. I think in the long run, it'll help on the Strip where they have the homeless problems, but then down here in the corridor in Mulaski Park, we've redesigned some of that. We just added new lighting so that it's safer for folks in the neighborhood, but it hopefully keeps the homeless from encampments that are there. We've been working with the apartment complexes and the condos nearby to try to clean up their bushes so that they're not camping in there. But my ultimate goal is that folks from here, once they get stopped or ticketed for illegally camping, then maybe we can get them into services where we really deal with mental health components, drug addictions, whatever it might be that's keeping them on the Strip or on the street.
Commissioner, Maryland Parkway is a very big part of District E, and I know I heard you on KNPR recently. You think this is the interconnection to the Strip and then to where people live. This has been studied and discussed in many different directions. What's next? Where are we at now on Maryland Parkway?
I'm pushing to find money for light rail. We've done the studies, the environmental study's been done. We're poised to go after infrastructure dollars back in the federal government. And unfortunately, they didn't do much with new monies, but we're still there and ready to apply. What we have as a tentative fallback plan, though, is maybe an urban light rail rather than with tracks. And so that at least gets us started. So you can go from the airport. My goal would be to go to the airport, go to the Bonneville Center, to the medical district in the city of Las Vegas, then hook back over, and they can get down to 5th Street in North Las Vegas. It would be a huge connectivity for the men and women that go to employment, but those that live, work, and play. It could actually be a game changer. So once we can get that off the ground, I just got to find the funding. We're ready. We received a Brownfield grant. We had a National Endowment for the Arts grant. So we're prepped to have to look at how to beautifying it. The street's a mess. I'm actually meeting with Public Works next week. It's one of my higher priorities is to get that resurfaced, but I don't want to tear it up if we got some things that we can do both art-wise and widening of the sidewalks, at least in the meantime, until we can get that funding for light rail.
You touched on the art program, the Clark County Public Arts Plan. It's in its 5th year, and I know that's something that is very near and dear to your heart, something you've helped spearhead. Talk to me about the arts then on Maryland Parkway or other parts of District E.
The public art, we were one of the last jurisdictions in Southern Nevada to have a public art fund, so I appealed to the board and was able to write an ordinance, and we took some money. George Stevens, when he was director, helped us find money that was not being utilized by the Convention Authority that could be allocated for this, so it didn't take away from anything else. We adopted that plan. We have an arts commission. They make the recommendations. We hire only internal or state people that live in the state of Nevada that are artists. We're doing it's mostly your painting, your murals, your sculpture right now, but down the road I'd like to explore looking at performing arts as well, because there's definitely a need for that throughout this whole valley. So it's off the ground. It's where all the ZAP projects that have been done here were funded by that. The large sculpture pieces in the medians up and down around the state, or around the Southern Nevada, are all from the arts project. The piece at the Siegfried and Roy Park, one of the first sculptures. We have Sammy Davis Jr., where Dean Martin, where all 3 roadways come together with Sinatra, all 3, the Rat Pack. So there's an artist already been selected to be able to put a piece of public art there too.
Commissioner, while we're talking about arts, I think we need to talk to the finest cultural center in all of Clark County, Winchester, and I know you single-handedly got $4.5 million to do some major renovations there, including things you see in most of our other facilities, such as a fitness room, and you have some other surprises there too.
Winchester is a jewel. People don't realize always how much it's used. I mean, with Dia de los Muertos, we have over 5,000 people showed up. The ofrendas, the food, the culture, the dance, and we do that on a regular basis. I mean, I even went and saw Frankie Marino on a Sunday afternoon playing piano there, but in a completely different way from his show would be. It is a gem. The theater has been needed to be upgraded, so that is in the process right now, and once it's completed, I want to rename it in honor of Thalia Dondero, former commissioner, first proponent. She was very much a cultural arts specialist, and then I want to pursue looking at renaming Winchester Cultural Center after her. I think she deserves that respect.
What other rehab or what other types of things will we see at Winchester?
Well, they're adding, as you said, the fitness room. We did the dance studio last 3 years ago now, I guess. Where the whole backyard area is going to be redone, because we have the Friends of Winchester as well, and we had to take down a couple of their gazebos, but they planted a great deal of the trees in the back section, so as we do the expansion out there, we had to lose some of that, but those will be replaced for them, because that was something that they fundraised for. But Winchester, I don't want to take the trees down, so I think I'm gonna have to buy them a leaf blower, because they don't have one on site to at least keep the doors clear so the people from the neighborhood can come in there. But a lot of seniors, you have Tai Chi that goes on, you have our little art gallery that's included inside there, which I would always remind people to go see and take a look at. They used to do film noir, so I'm hoping maybe they can bring that back once we get the sound system and the new seats done for within the theater.